Standing high above the battlefield, the divine envoy expresses his genuine surprise at discovering someone with Lin Zekin's exceptional talent existing on Earth. As he speaks, he casually gestures with his hand, causing a massive swarm of dark, dangerously thorny vines to violently erupt from the ground, wrapping tightly around Lin Zekin. Completely trapped, Lin Zekin realizes with overwhelming dread that he cannot possibly break free, acutely aware that his opponent is a truly formidable, rare-level expert. However, Lin Zekin is suddenly and unexpectedly freed as a barrage of sharp, intensely glowing projectiles shoots past him, cleanly slicing the thick vines into pieces and leaving him completely surprised by the sudden rescue. The source of the devastating attack is revealed to be Mo Dongji, who gracefully floats in the air while summoning a massive, swirling storm of icy projectiles around her. Her breathtaking presence completely shocks the arrogant masked man with her sudden appearance. Floating calmly amidst her swirling powers, Mo Dongji confidently explains to the plague doctor masked man that she fully anticipated the plant god cult would target Lin Zekin after his outstanding performance. Thus, she had been secretly guarding him, waiting in the shadows for them to finally make their move. The masked man simply chuckles, finding her clever trap amusing, but he remains confident, arrogantly claiming that he is more than capable of dealing with her alone. Deeply angered by his blatant arrogance, Mo Dongji sharply retorts that she is certainly no longer the weak opponent she once was, and without warning, she forcefully launches her massive barrage of glowing projectiles directly at him. In immediate response, the plague doctor masked man swiftly commands his own dark powers, causing a colossal writhing wave of thick vines to erupt and violently clash head-on against Mo Dongji's overwhelming wave of freezing ice. Fully realizing the terrifying scale of the ongoing clash, Lin Zekin quickly turns around and sprints away from the crumbling battlefield. He thinks to himself that he must escape immediately to avoid being helplessly caught in the destructive crossfire between two incredibly powerful rare-level experts. As Lin Zekin urgently sprints through the dense forest to escape the chaotic battlefield behind him, he suddenly senses a strange presence nearby. He abruptly stops to cautiously investigate, nervously wondering who or what might be lurking there. To his absolute shock, he discovers instructor Lu Jianrong, still fully transformed into his massive tiger beast form, completely trapped and tightly bound by the dark thorny vines. The ensnared instructor quickly spots Lin Zekin and desperately calls out to him for immediate help. Seeing his fierce instructor's helpless predicament, Lin Zekin decides this is the perfect opportunity to test his newly acquired biological attributes. His eyes glow intensely as he focuses his mental strength, actively channeling his energy to trigger his new plant-controlling ability. To the trapped instructor's absolute surprise, the thick vines forcefully binding him automatically begin to loosen and retract into the soil. This miraculous rescue leaves him bewildered, silently wondering how the deadly magical trap managed to mysteriously untie itself. Now completely freed from the suffocating vines and safely standing alongside Lin Zekin, instructor Lu Tianrong listens as Lin Zekin explains his success. Lin Zekin cleverly tells him that he managed to kill the masked man with a swift sneak attack because the dangerous villain was already heavily injured. With the magic user dead, the vine ability naturally deactivated. Hearing this logical explanation, the pragmatic instructor notes that they should not delay any longer. He urges them to quickly find the rest of the team so they can safely evacuate the area. A sensible plan Lin Zekin firmly agrees with. A short, intense time later, they finally arrive at a wide clearing where the team's heavy military vehicles are parked among the giant roots and the rest of the rescued students are gathered together. Suddenly, someone from the anxious crowd spots Lin Zekin approaching and loudly calls out his name in relief. An incredibly worried but now immensely relieved Shen Qinghan quickly breaks away from the gathered group and urgently sprints toward him. She tearfully exclaims how incredibly glad she is that he has finally returned to them safely. Without hesitating, she throws her trembling arms around Lin Zekin in a fierce emotional embrace. She begins crying as she openly confesses how terrified she was of losing him and never seeing him again. She desperately pleads with him that they must never separate again, and a comforting Lin Zekin gently hugs her back, sincerely promising her that they will stay together from now on. Shortly after the deeply emotional reunion, Ma Weiwei cautiously approaches Lin Zekin to carefully check on his overall physical condition, genuinely asking if he sustained any injuries during his harrowing escape. She kindly holds out a valuable healing pill and generously offers it to him. but Lin Zicken politely declines the thoughtful offer, confidently assuring her that he isn't hurt at all and doesn't need the medicine. However, a stubborn Ma Weiwei firmly insists, gently but forcefully pressing the pill into his hands. She strictly tells him to keep it just in case he desperately needs it later on. An unexpectedly caring gesture that leaves Lin Zicken looking pleasantly surprised. Quickly getting back to the highly urgent situation, Lin Zicken seriously addresses the entire gathered team. He loudly announces that since everyone is accounted for, they must get into the armored vehicles and evacuate the hostile area immediately. He strictly warns them that it is incredibly dangerous to stay because a frighteningly powerful rare-level expert from the plant god cult is currently engaged in a fierce battle with Mo Dongji nearby, and they heavily risk being tragically caught in the crossfire. Following his orders, the team quickly boards the heavily armored military vehicles and rapidly speeds away through the overgrown forest. Safely inside the moving trucks, the trembling students openly voice their shock over this terrifying situation, completely amazed that both a rare-level enemy and Mo Dongji are present. Furthermore, they nervously wonder aloud why the Central Military District hasn't sent any backup yet, given the extreme severity of the threat. As the roaring convoy frantically rushes to escape, a highly mysterious barefoot figure suddenly descends rapidly from the sky, landing directly in their path with an intense surge of glowing pink energy. Seeing the strange figure drop down, someone inside the vehicle loudly calls out, hopefully wondering if it is just another one of their instructors. However, absolute panic quickly sets in as the wide-eyed driver clearly spots the terrifying person through the windshield and immediately yells a desperate warning. Standing confidently right in the middle of the road, effortlessly blocking their escape route, is the legendary nine-tailed demon fox. This is the end of the video. If you would like to watch the next part, please subscribe to our channel.